Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're taking a handful of everyday pantry ingredients and literally turning them into absolute sunshine on a plate. If you're someone who craves snacks that are soft, spongy, and packed with vibrant flavors, well, you are definitely in the right place. We're going to master one universal baseline batter today. Think of it as an effortless culinary hack that lets you create 6 distinctly different, totally mouthwatering Khaman dishes without breaking a sweat. I absolutely love this quote from our source material. Soft, spongy, savory, and bright. 6 common delights in every bite. Okay, let's dive right into this. Our entire goal today is efficiency mixed with massive flavor. We are going to decode the baseline technique of making classic Gujarati Khaman. Once you nail this single master technique, you unlock an entire spectrum of homemade favorites. And the best part? You don't have to start from scratch every single time. It is, hands down, the ultimate culinary hack. All right, Section 1. The classic Khaman foundation. Let's set the stage. To achieve this theme and variation magic, we really have to establish our core foundation first. These 4 steps, they're going to apply to almost every single variation we cover today. So first up, you whisk your base. We're talking 1 cup of besan, gram flour, with a ½ cup each of yogurt and water. Throw in your sugar, lemon juice, turmeric, and salt. You absolutely need a perfectly smooth batter here to avoid a dense sponge or, any weird color changes when it steams. Step 2, just let it rest for 10 to 15 minutes so it can hydrate. Third, you fold in your aerating agent. And finally, pour that right into a greased tray and steam it for 15 to 20 minutes. Nailing this exact sequence is what guarantees that signature airy bite. Now let's talk about the science of the sponge, because how exactly does Khaman get that incredible cloud-like bounce? It's all about ENO. Basically, it's a fruit salt, and it acts as a super powerful aerating agent. But listen to me, the absolute non-negotiable secret here is the timing. You have to add the ENO right before steaming. You gently fold it in, don't aggressively mix it or you'll knock all the precious air out, and then get it into that steamer immediately. If you let it sit around or if you overmix it, you are going to end up with a dense brick instead of a fluffy, perfect delight. Moving right along to Section 2, flavor twists and textures. So now that we've totally mastered the master batter and the science behind that sponge, let's hit the gas. Let's see how just tiny, slight modifications can give us entirely new dishes. First up on the spectrum is the Masala Khaman twist. It is wild how simple this is. Just by dropping a teaspoon of ginger green chili paste directly into that resting batter, you completely transform the flavor profile. Boom, done. Then when you do your oil tempering at the end, you toss in a pinch of asafoetida for this incredibly deep, savory aroma. Finish the whole thing off with fresh chopped coriander and a generous sprinkle of crispy sev, and you've got a beautiful, spice-packed bite with an amazing crunch, all from that same base. Okay, but what if you're someone who loves a richer, more savory upgrade? Enter the Paneer Khaman. For this one, after your master batter has done its 10-minute rest, you simply fold in ½ cup of grated paneer cheese right before the ENO goes in. During the steaming process, that cheese melts slightly into the wet mix, creating this super luxurious, hearty texture right inside the classic sponge. Garnish it with even more grated paneer and some fresh coriander on top, and honestly, it is an incredibly satisfying variation. The textural contrast is just out of this world. Now, if earthy and aromatic is more your vibe, you've got to try the Methi Khaman infusion. You're going to take a ½ cup of finely chopped fresh methi, fenugreek leaves, and mix those straight into your besan and yogurt base before the resting phase. What this does is introduce this gorgeous green-flecked visual and a wonderfully fragrant, slightly better earthy flavor. And it perfectly balances out the sugar and lemon we already have in the batter. Toss some coriander and sesame seeds on top as a garnish, and you're golden. Actually, scratch that. Let's pivot for a second and talk about a base ingredient swap. We can take our classic besan recipe and just swap out the gram flour for 1 cup of fine semolina, which you might know as rava or suji. You use the exact same steaming method, the exact same yogurt to water ratios, and the exact same ENO science. But this one simple ingredient shift creates a distinctly lighter, grainier texture. Just keep in mind, the rava batter does need a slightly longer rest. Think 15 to 20 minutes so the semolina has time to properly absorb the liquids. It's such a brilliant way to completely change the mouthfeel of the dish with basically zero extra effort. All right, we are on to Section 3, the ultimate tadka finish. So imagine we have our beautifully steamed, fluffy squares of Khaman sitting right in front of us. But we're missing the final, most crucial step of this whole explainer. I'm talking about the step that brings the moisture, the shine, and just an absolute sensory explosion. Tempering, or tadka. It's a technique where you heat oil and crackle spices like mustard and sesame seeds to release their essential oils. But here is the massive, game-changing secret to perfect classic Khaman, the sweet and savory tempering liquid. You add a half cup of water and a teaspoon of sugar directly to that sizzling spiced oil, bring it to a quick boil, and pour it all over the cut squares. That exact ratio gets absorbed directly into the sponge. It is literally what ensures your Khaman is melt-in-your-mouth juicy instead of dry and crumbly. And think of tadka as a spectrum, right? You have the classic tempering we just talked about, mustard seeds, sesame, green chilies, curry leaves, and of course that crucial water and sugar mix for the sweet, juicy bite. But then on the other end, we have the special tadka. We use this for our final variation, the tadka Khaman. This is a robust, spice-heavy oil finish. We're talking cumin, dried red chilies, asafoetida, and extra turmeric. And notice the massive difference in the liquid base here. Zero water or sugar. You are just pouring that hot, deeply infused, fragrant spice oil directly over the sponge. It's a massive savory flavor upgrade that literally crackles on the palate.
And finally, Section 4, the plating payoff.
Because every single variation we've covered today builds to this ultimate Gujarati-style snack experience. You do not just eat Khaman on its own. You serve these variations fresh, side by side like a giant puzzle of flavor. You want the bright, vibrant kick of a green coriander mint chutney right next to the deep, complex tang of a sweet tamarind chutney. Throw in some blistered, fried green chilies for those who love the heat, and absolutely without fail, you need a steaming cup of hot masala chai. The contrast of the spongy, cool, juicy Khaman paired with that hot spiced tea, it's culinary perfection. And that brings us to the end of our explainer. We've seen how mastering one totally universal batter hack unlocks an entire world of flavor, texture, and creativity in the kitchen. So here's the real question. Soft, spongy, or spice-packed? Which of these 6 Khaman variations, the classic, the masala, the paneer, the methi, the rava, or that robust special tadka, are you most excited to steam up first? Let your curiosity lead the way, grab your steamer, and enjoy the delicious results. Thanks for learning with me today.